Good afternoon, students. For today's second session of SAP, we have Nagrasa with us. Nagrasa, you can continue with your class, sir.
Thanks, Kunal. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah. So, are there any questions? Let me just check. Good afternoon. Can we have as last 2 days session recording? Okay.
I am sharing the detail.
Sure.
Students, right now, once the classes of 1 week gets over, Institute will automatically update the recorded classes of the same days, whatever you have went through till now. In the institute portal where you have tried to log in and watch the recorded, there was one more option called recorded session, but I think when you went there, right now it will be a blank. Institute will update soon. That's all.
Yes, Kunal. Thanks. Yeah. So, students, I hope you got the answer for that question as far as the recorded sessions are concerned. So, before lunch, we were trying to understand as to what is client specific data, what is company code specific data, right? I hope you are clear. Nothing but whenever data is available for all the company codes, the data is said to be in the client at the client level, or it is supposed to be the client specific data. And if it is restricted to only one, two, or maybe say a couple of company codes, that data is referred to as the company code specific data. Only that relevant company code has the access for that particular entity, whatever data we are talking about. Yeah, right. Now, so when we were just going through the concept of subledgers, that is your individual customers and your individual vendors, right? So they are referred to as the subledgers in SAP. And the concept of reconciliation account, please understand this because this concept is the bread and butter of any of the finance person, finance professional. Yeah. Now, what is this reconciliation account? You need not have to understand from how the role is performed within the SAP system, but all you need to know is why this is ever present within the SAP system. So as I said, it is not your bank reconciliation. This reconciliation has a different meaning altogether. This reconciliation general ledger account is a simple general ledger account created by the finance consultant only. Only the finance professional in SAP creates this reconciliation account for both your accounts payable as far as your accounts receivable. So how does this help me with? This helps me to get the balances of the aggregated balances of all the vendors and all the customers with whom I am carrying out my business. It is the first connecting point between your finance module and your AP or the AR submodules. So this is the first concept of integration. Even before we move on to the concept of integration between the two different modules, FIMM, FISD, FIPAS, FIPP, FIHR. So even before we get into all those concepts, here we need to understand this is your first connecting point within the finance module itself. Okay, so what did we understand? Reconciliation is a just another general ledger account created by the finance consultant, and it forms a part of your chart of accounts. Clear? Okay. And the next important point, what you need to understand is it forms the connection, or it binds the finance and your AP or the AR submodules, and also the asset accounting. The same reconciliation account concept extends to your asset accounting also. Yeah, these three are the areas where you will find the concept of reconciliation. Your customers, vendors, your assets, right? Okay, if at all somebody asks you a question as to what is the concept of reconciliation account in SAP, and where is it applied? It is applicable to your assets module, to your vendor and your customers. Clear, students? Now, so we understood the what is external reporting, what is internal reporting. We understood that. And what are the modules responsible for your external as well as for the internal reporting. And let me repeat this point, students. Your controlling module is a little complex as compared to any other module, simply because the data flow is a little, it has to be understood in a totally different way, because each and every module comes and hits the CO module indirectly. It may not be through the direct interaction, because everything in the finance module happens directly. You will have your journal vouchers, you will have your sales invoices, you'll have your sales receipts, you'll have your purchase invoices, purchase payments, you will have your asset related transactions. So you will know from where this is originating from. Clear? But in CO, probably it is a little complex setup for you to understand from where the data is from. And let me also tell you, if you get into the finance implementing side of SAP, CO will be a part and parcel of your learning as far as the finance persons are concerned. And even though you become a consultant, assuming that you become, or maybe one or two of you would be interested to become consultants, you would not be given the CO module in the initial stages. You will not be owning the CO module. You will be working under the senior consultants to understand the concept of controlling. But again, from the user's perspective, we are definitely going to look at the controlling module also. Clear? But only from the understanding perspective, not from the perspective of you being an expert in the CO module. And as I said, finding expertise in the CO module is a little rare. I'm not saying, I'm not completely ruling out that you will not find experts. One of my mentors in SAP is an excellent expert in the CO module. So I'm not totally denying that you will never find a CO module expert, but a little rare, because the understanding itself takes some years of experience in SAP. It is not your fault. You will need to spend some time on SAP to get a brief insight into your CO module. So that is why when you join a project, or when I joined as a junior consultant, in my SAP career, I was not given the CO issues to handle. Okay. So, but here we are definitely not ignoring the CO module. We are definitely going to touch, but only very, very brief. Yeah. Now let us go back to the, and we understood what posting was because one of the slides used that particular word posting. What is posting? A process of the user entering and saving any kind of a transaction in SAP is called as posting. Is there any other information which I need to give even before in addition to posting? Yes. Let me get into that particular slide and later explain those concepts also. Clear? So we understood all this. So now you are aware of what is a company code. Just give me a moment. Ah, okay, we were just touching upon the concept of client just before we took a lunch break. Now we are the most important as far as the finance module is concerned and as far as any SAP implementing project goes. What is a company code? Independent accounting unit. I think we are very aware of it. Why do we call it as independent? On its own, it is able to generate the financial statements. Yeah. A company code is an independent accounting entity. An example of a company code is a company within the corporate group. So I just put that structure in the Excel, the Reliance under which we had Geo, Smart, Trends, Insurance, right? So that is the practical side of you understanding what is a company code. Now within SAP, what is a company code? A company code has a unique 4-character key which can be alphanumeric. Now, suppose let us say, I'm working on a project for Hindustan Unilever Limited. So first and the foremost, as a finance person, I need to create this Hindustan Unilever Limited or Tata or Reliance within my SAP system, which is called as a company code. Correct? Now, how does the SAP system recognize this company code? Okay, let me exemplify this with a simple everyday activity. Now, you join a company. You become an employee. Do you think there can be only you with the same name? There could be 10 Ramesh, there could be 20 Ramesh. See, I am Nagraj, so I could have maybe say 20-25 Nagraj in my organization. Yeah. So how does the organization, how does the employer identify? So I may be working in the finance department. Okay, some other Nagraj may be working in a production department. Some other Nagraj may be working in the human resources department, HR department. Yes, but how does the company identify? How does the organization identify these three different Nagraj? It is through the unique employee code, which is generated by the company based on some logic. Employee numbers could be could have some logic. Like say we had a logic for general ledger accounts, right? One for assets, two for whatever. So the similar logic may apply for the company to have a employee code generation. So similarly, the SAP system should be in a position to uniquely identify the Hindustan Unilever company. So now let us say, as a consultant. So today I may be as a junior consultant, I may be attached to only one project. But as a senior consultant, as I put on 3 years of experience in the field of SAP, I may not necessarily work on only one project. I may be asked to handle more than one project. Let us say I get into working for Hindustan Unilever Limited and also Reliance. So the system should identify, so I'll be having access to both these particular entities, Hindustan Unilever as well as Reliance. So how does SAP identify that I'm doing this for Reliance, I'm doing this for Hindustan Unilever? So I need to have a unique identity for my company code on which I am actually, suppose I'm entering a voucher, a simple journal voucher. The poor system should know to which organization that expense or whatever maybe the transaction is referring to. Is it to Reliance or is it to Hindustan Unilever? So I need to mention that particular entity in my transaction. So how does SAP identify that? The company code is identified by the system, by SAP, with a unique 4 character code. 4 character code. So as the line says, it could be alphanumeric also. Can it be alphabetic? Yes. You can have all the 4 characters as alphabets, A, B, C, D. You can also have 1111. Your identifier could be less than 4 characters, but a maximum of 4 characters alone is allowed for you to represent a company code. Can be alphabetic, can be numeric, or it can be a mixed match, alphanumeric. But normally in the live SAP projects, any company code will be identified by only numbers. Okay. Is this concept clear or understood or not understood? I'll wait for 2 minutes. Okay, I see no questions. Anyway, I'll still wait for 2 more minutes. Okay, I still see no questions. All right. So typically you can see that a company code is referred in the SAP system by a unique 4-character code. And basically it is 99 out of the 100 times it is number. I mean, it is numbers. Yes, it is numerals. Okay. Now I'll go back to the slide. See, I think you're quite okay with understanding this company code level. Yeah, I think I explained before lunch, or I just revised. I also revised the same topic after we just came back from lunch. General ledger accounting is always done at the company code level. Logical, right? Suppose I'm entering a simple journal voucher, expense account debit to cash. So I must tell the SAP system to which entity it is referring to which company code the expense is actually arising from. Correct? So this is the meaning of that line. General ledger accounting is always done at the company code level. So all other lines, they are self-explanatory. You can understand. Okay, at your CMA level, this should not be a challenge. It is used to create a legally required balance sheet, your trial balance, your profit and loss accounts, and whatever may be the other statements, what you want to generate. Yeah. What is the catch? The company code must be mentioned for every financial transaction. Please read this line again and again. The company code must be mentioned for every financial transaction in SAP. Logic, I have already told you the logic. So let us see what is this IDES system. Probably you would come across this. It stands for your IDES stands for International Demo Education System of SAP. You want me to make a note of it? I'll do it. IDES stands for your International Demo Education System of SAP. Okay. Okay, these are all the standard. He's talking about the standard SAP system. All these are very much available for you when you open any of the SAP system across the globe. Wherever you are present geographically, all these company codes, what he is mentioning, must and should be present as far as the system standards are concerned. Okay. Okay. Organizational elements. Okay, you can just read it through in your. So as far as the IDES company codes is concerned, we have one company code which is denoted by 0001. Can you see the 4 digits? 0001, maximum 4 characters. So here, as I said, every and any standard SAP system must have this company code. In addition, it also may have this company code unless and until the system is not disturbed. So whenever you see the references to these company codes, and there are many others also. It gave you a big list as say, this is your Germany company. Germany, this is again could be your US, whatever. Okay. Now, this is exactly how the standard SAP defined company codes are present in the SAP system. Clear, students? So in the earlier, see there, these are all your company codes. The numbers they indicate the company code. 3000 is your USA company code, 4000 is your Canada, 6000 is your Mexico. But even if you do not find any of this company codes, you must definitely find this and this or this. At least two standard company codes you must definitely see. Clear? This is as far as the standard SAP system is concerned. SAP delivers this as a part of your standard system. Clear? Organizational elements in SAP Finance. Let us read through this. If at all there is some, of course, there is a video which you can go through. So just mentally make note of this because I would want to proceed with the training in a organized way. This profit center maybe could fall under a part of the CO part. But anyway, since it has already come up, I will tell you what a profit center is, but I will show you only at the appropriate time. Yeah. A profit center now is become mandatory. Okay, that you must know, but let me hold on. Let me just stop there. It indicates a vital information as far as the internal management. So that's why I said this pertains more to the CO module. But now it is the responsibility of the finance consultant to define these entities in the SAP system after having understood the business structure. Students, it is always you need to map, you need to understand the business. Forget SAP. You need to understand the business and then convert the business into SAP. See, today you may find SAP a little difficult. Tomorrow you may find SAP a little difficult. But day after tomorrow, after having got into the system, you will definitely start feeling comfortable. But understanding the business, especially when you're playing the role of a consultant, it is very, 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 very challenging. Yeah. So what is a profit center? Simply, practically, I will tell you, profit center is that department in your organization which is earning revenues. As simple as that. If somebody asks you a question as to do you know what a profit center means, what a cost center means. So simply see, this sounds a little complex, but you need to remember all this when you're answering in an interview. Absolutely nothing at all. Just know what profit center is with or without SAP. You'll be able to answer the question. So what is a profit center? It is simply an entity or a department in your organization which is responsible for revenues. Or we can simply give an example. Sales department is a wonderful example for your profit centers. Why? Because it is earning revenue. Sales department is earning revenue. So once when you say it's a sales department, the interviewer will know that you know that you have hit the point. Okay. So it is nothing but your sales department. If you know this over, you don't have to remember all these complex lines. Your what is product line, what is the absolutely nothing. Okay. You can, okay, it is the same explanation. Please go through the video in your free time. Profit center, master data. See, all this I would actually normally in my practice, I would take up only when I'm dealing with the CO topic. But since he has actually asked you, or rather he has already given you this slide, profit center master data, I will show you how this is, how this looks like in your SAP system. Okay? You may not be able to understand. Students, don't worry. I'll be doing this again. When I'm taking up the CO portion, I'll be taking you to the screen again. But you may be interested to know some things practically also. So that is the reason, just to keep up the interest in you to listen to the theory as well as looking at the practical side of SAP. Probably that combination would be more interesting for you than rather than me talking alone. Anyway, I will show you this master data for the profit center. Don't worry about how I get into that. Okay, it is not required now, or maybe may not be required for this entire course. Don't worry about the information, whatever I'm giving. Just hold on. PCTR1 and PCT. So I'll simply display a profit center. PCTR. See, this is your sales department 1 identified with the code PCTR1. Okay. So this is your master data. This is exactly what you see in this slide also. This is your master data for a profit center. Here he is trying to enter the or trying to create a profit center. But here I'm simply showing you the profit center which I have already created. Okay? Don't worry about how you create. Okay. I just wanted to see that the interest is kept up. So I'm matching up with my theory along with my practical side of SAP also. Is it okay, students? I mean, is this methodology okay, or you tell me? The profit center is defined at the CO area level. So your profit centers, your cost centers, they are always defined. I've still not explained what is a cost center. Just hold on, because I'm still in the profit center. So it is always at the controlling module. It is always so even if you had observed, when I try to enter the data for the profit center, the system prompted me to enter the controlling area here. So this is an enough indication that your profit centers and your cost centers or whatever is created or at the controlling area level, not at the company code level. Yeah. When creating a profit center, you name all these are other things where you need to create segment. Now, what is a segment? See, actually, all these things they come up when we talk about the CO module. But anyway, since he has already spoken about the segment, what is a segment? I'll just put up a definition for the profit center. A entity responsible for the revenue or for the revenues. What is a segment? The lowest level of reporting. Meaning, where does the business want to start its reporting from? It may still not be clear. Let me explain a scenario. An entity or a department or an entity responsible for revenues. Sales department. Typical example for your profit center could be your sales department. Now, let me assume I'm into some textiles business. I deal with cloth. I also deal with ready-mades. So under cloth, I have maybe say trouser material, shirting material, dress material. So similarly, I have for men, in the cloth for men, I have probably for both I have dress material for men. In ready-mades, I have casuals for men, formal for both men and women. In casual, I have say anything. It could be jeans, it could be whatever. Yeah, or maybe say cotton pants, right? So where do I want the reporting to start from? So casual, I have trousers, t-shirts, t-shirts with collar, round neck t-shirts, for both men and women. Okay. I have what else? Jeans for both men and women. Jeans jackets, jeans trousers. Yeah. Now, where do I want the reporting to start from? Do I want to have at this level jeans, under jeans you have jackets, you have pants. Do you want me to start there, or do I want to have it at the casual and the formals level itself? Or do I want at the men and the women level? Or do I want at the shirting, suitings, dress level? Or do I want only from the men and the women level? Or do I want only from the cloth and the ready-mades level? So it all depends on from where I would want to start my reporting from and what is my business need. If I want to start at the round neck t-shirts or with polo t-shirts, what is my requirement? What is the necessity? More importantly, why would I want to start reporting? So like this, it is these things are basically for my requirement for the management purposes. So identification as to the level at which I want to start reporting becomes the segment. Let us see what definition he has to give. An organization, a segment refers to the org unit as an operating as defined by the. So some of the lines may see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you the practical side of the things, what we have seen in our projects. So this thing, if I just repeat these lines, it could not be understood, or maybe it will be a little complex for you to understand. So a segment is the bottommost entity from which an organization wants to start its reporting from. Clear? See, the segment collects the balances of all profit or lower level profit centers and offers additional reports. In addition to your profit center information, you can get this also. Any idea what he means by this? So the first line says the segment collects the balances of all lower level profit centers. Please do not try to understand this in the spirit of the line. Okay, I'll tell you from the SAP side. What is this? This is a profit center master data. Can you see a segment being attached to it? Segment A. What is segment A? Don't bother. But that is the meaning of this line. So every profit center will have a segment attached to it so that it refines the, what should I say, the reports. This is the meaning of that sentence. The segment collects the balances of all lower level profit centers and offers additional information or additional reports I can draw from the segment level. This is what is exactly meant by that. Clear, students? So don't try to understand what exactly how things are done in SAP. I'm just showing you the SAP screens just to keep you interested in the subject. And you should know what exactly SAP does. And some of the English, how it gets converted into SAP is what exactly I'm trying to show it to you on the SAP system. Clear? Any questions? No questions? Let me wait for 2 minutes. and then probably take up. I have just taken a pause for 2 minutes, students, just to give you time to ask me questions. Do I see a question? Very good. Thanks, Anil. Okay, I'll start in another minute. Okay, we'll move on. Segments can also be used as a dimension. That's exactly what we were trying to understand. Segment reporting in IFRS, US GAAP. Right? The aim of segment, let us just read, let us spend maybe say 1 or 2 minutes on this. Provide an insight into different business activities. Provide information about the how the general information about the business. Yeah. Provide an overview of the company's economic performance. So don't you think that if I have the segments, I can deep dive into the details of how exactly things are working? Suppose there is something lacking in the cloth area, especially the women dress materials. So I would want to identify why this is not working to my expectations. Suppose say polo t-shirts for women is not working under the ready-mades. So I have an area which is being identified. Yes, this is not performing according to my requirements, according to my expectations. So where do I see? Can you see better anticipate the risks and the opportunities? So I can make the SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, of opportunities and threats. So don't you think that all the things can be met with the segment reporting? Forget essay. Now that you know the meaning of segments, now you are aware of what is the information that the management can draw from dividing the business into different segments. Yeah. So it is all your, see, even this slide may be a little, SAP is putting it in a different way, but the practical side of your segments is what I just said. So you can have a perfect definition for a segment where part of the company that incurs costs, generates revenue, and has its own financial data. Correct, no? If I want to analyze how my polo t-shirts or how my round neck t-shirts are working, can't I get a report? Absolutely. I can find out the result, how things are happening. Now, where do you see the segment? I showed you that the profit center has the master data for the segment. The profit center master data has the information of the segment also. But where do you see the segment? Students, I'll be taking you through all these screens. Don't worry. Can you see the segment? So this is a place where the consultant defines the segment. I execute. So you can see the jeans trousers men, jeans trousers women, formal trousers men, formal trousers women, polo t-shirts men. Yeah. So like this, I can create the segments and you can read the description of SAP also. I'll tell you what it is. When I practically take you into the SAP system, you're just viewing the practical side of SAP, but this is how you need to navigate. There is a separate subject called navigation. Okay. In this IMG activity, forget what is IMG. If you define your profit centers, you enter the associated segment. So we have already seen how the profit center is talking to the segment or how the segment is talking to the profit center. That is the meaning of this. So the segment is consisted, or rather the segment is present within the profit center master data, and that is how it is. That is the meaning of this line. The segment is then derived. So from this arrangement, the information is also achievable at the segment level. I don't want to get into this baddie even. It is highly technical. Yeah, don't bother about it. If you know what is a segment, what is a, and how, what we are talking about, if you're talking about the profit center and the segment, more than enough. You don't have to get into the deeper side of the segment or the profit center. I hope things are getting interesting, students. Maybe too many things. Wonderful. As long as it is clear, I have absolutely, I'm more than happy. All right, now we'll move on to the next slide. So the functional areas, you have a concept called functional area in SAP. So he is giving you the examples. production, marketing, engineering. Even in engineering, we have mechanical engineering, architecture. So we have done this. Practically, we have done this. But now I'm not very sure if they're all the individual activities, your function areas, nothing but you click allows you to structure your income statement. You need functional areas. You can just go through this. All these are concepts from different modules. You see orders, you see cost centers, secondary cost elements, primary cost elements, internal orders, WBS elements, networks. So you have various concepts which form a part of the other module. That's exactly why I said when you're talking about the CO module, it is rather a little probably your understanding of the business should be very, very clear even before. But of course, when you step into the SAP field, you will you will naturally pick up these things also. Now we will try to understand what is primary cost elements, what is secondary cost elements, what are cost centers, what are internal orders, what is a WBS element. Simply for the explanation or for the expansion of WBS, it is your work breakdown structure, which is actually a part of your project systems model. Yeah. But now you see, as I said, why the controlling module sounds a little complex is the data flows from the various other modules to the CO module without you being aware. All right. So functional areas, what are they? They break down the corporate expenditure into different functions. Yeah. Okay, we'll come back once when we finish with the Kunal, we'll take a break for 10 minutes.
Sure, sir. We will join by 3:11.
Okay. Yes, students, we will proceed. Okay. So I assume that probably the definitions of some terms are at least easily understandable, not from the SAP perspective, definitely. So we'll just see what is a company code, profit center, why it is being used, an example also, right? So here's given you every, so what is a segment? Can you see the bikes, spare parts? Okay. Functional area. What is a functional area? All right. So all these definitions, they are, I think probably this adds more clarity to your understanding. Here, students, just go through them. If at all you get lost somewhere, you're always most welcome to come back to me with questions. This is the topic. What you're seeing on the in this particular slide is the bread and butter for any of the finance consultant. Lots and lots many things to be understood only from this slide. Now, can you see the first line? The general ledger is the core financial accounting entity. Yeah. What does it do? Can you see this? Therefore, the GL account is one of the most important master data as far as the whole of the other modules are also concerned, not only from the finance module perspective. Clear? Now, what is it that we are trying to understand? So today morning, we saw we how the chart of accounts looks like. It has nothing but the general ledger account number and the explanation. GL account number 1, rent account, GL account number 2, expense account, GL account number 3, salaries. So like this, based on the logic what the finance consultant has worked on to design the general ledger accounts. He designs the first he constructs. See, I'll tell you the whole process as to how this happens. So all these general ledger accounts as being thought of by the finance people. You could have 3 consultants, you could have 2 consultants, you could have 4 consultants based on the complexity of that particular model. So as I said, what do I mean by this? When we worked on the IS Media project, the project was more of a combination of your finance and your sales and distribution. So we had enough number of consultants for the finance module and enough number of consultants. May say maybe we had 4 and 4. No, 2 finance consultants and 1 team lead of the finance background. And I think 4 of them were there for the sales and distribution module. So like this, the mix match of the consultants depends on the complexity of the project. Sometimes finance could be more demanding, so you'll be having more number of finance consultants. So like this. Now, all we know from the chart of accounts perspective is it is nothing but a master list of all the general ledger accounts which is used by the business. Okay. On the right side, this portion where you can see where I'm moving the cursor. If you're able to see, can you see something called as a chart of accounts? Operating chart of accounts. Now, along with the chart of accounts, what is this operating CO? From where do I continue? Oh, I have this. Okay, okay. Now I'll put it here. So in our SAP system, we have the operational COA, operational chart of accounts, which we just saw. Here again, this becomes mandatory. Why mandatory? And what is an operational chart of accounts? It is the working set of the general ledger accounts, which the system should know. That means I need to know if at all, I am always giving you a scenario of my projects. Suppose I'm working on more than one project, Reliance, Tata's, Hindustan Unilever. So I need to establish a relation, or I need to know what is the set of general ledger accounts used by Reliance. Obviously, the set of accounts may not match with the, or will definitely not match with the Tata's requirement. You agree with me? And both the companies, the chart of accounts may not be suitable to Hindustan Unilever. So I would first and the foremost thing is I need to, as a finance consultant, I would design the chart of accounts based on the requirement of the business. First one. Second point, what is this operational chart of accounts? So your operational chart of accounts is a mandatory creation, and this is the working chart of accounts, which working chart of accounts meaning what the business is using. Just hold on, guys. I need to take this call. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Students, just excuse me for 2 minutes. Okay. I'm so sorry, students. I had to, this call was important. Just a second. I'm just making note of the questions. Any attendance? Okay, not now. So does it mean to say there are non-mandatory charts of accounts also? Yes, there are three types of charts of accounts. Group chart of accounts, not mandatory, only during consolidation. Only when you have the concept of company and the company code, you have the group chart of accounts which needs to be designed. Else, if you're talking only one single company code, there is no concept of your group chart of accounts. It is required and only required when you have the concept of consolidation. When you have the group, the mother and the child relationship, where the head office takes up the results of all its company codes and combines the results. Only then you have a concept of group chart of accounts. Till then, there is no concept of group chart of account and it is not mandatory. Clear? Now, country chart of accounts, again, not mandatory. Then why is it required? At least I don't remember any of my projects using the country chart of accounts. Then why is this option given to you? The country chart of accounts is required only when there is a accounting deviation or an accounting requirement of a specific country. Then and only then you need to follow their specified chart of accounts to satisfy the legal requirements of reporting. So you have three types of charts of accounts, out of which your operational chart of accounts is mandatory, is compulsory, without which you cannot start recording or entering any kind of a transaction in your company code. So what is the other point which you should follow? Assign. So we have defined a chart of accounts. We have put the GL accounts, populated the chart of accounts with the GL accounts. Now I need to set up the relation. What business entity, what company code is going to use this set of general ledger accounts? Clear? So assign chart of accounts to company code. So this completes the whole setup of your chart of accounts. Till then, this does not give any meaning to your setup. Did you understand the point what I'm trying to make? So every entity must be assigned to the company code as of now. For now, just try to understand whatever you are creating must be linked, must be attached to the company code. All right. Did you understand? This is the most important of the chart of accounts. So if your interviewer asks you, what are the different types of charts of accounts? what is a chart of accounts? You know the answer. Different types of charts of accounts. You have the operational chart of accounts, which is mandatory, which is very much required by the system. And the other two charts of accounts, which is your group chart of accounts and your country chart of accounts, they are not mandatory. SAP has given you a particular scenario under which these two charts of accounts, they become mandatory, or else they are not mandatory by the definition. Here, students, please take time. That's why I give you that short break of 2 minutes. It is for you to digest the topic. I know I'm pumping in with lots and lots of details. All right. And I'm writing down everything on the Excel sheet. Okay. So that becomes very, very clear. Allow yourself some time to understand. Absolutely no hurry. So I am just stopping at every, maybe say even 10-15 minutes. I'm just giving you a break of 2 minutes just to understand the concept. Only conceptual understanding now is required. Yeah? Don't worry about the how things are done in SAP. That is not your perspective. Now, you need to learn the subject only from the user perspective. See, you must specify one chart of accounts for the general ledger. The chart of accounts is assigned to the company code in configuration and is referred to as the operating chart of accounts. What is the content in the operating chart of accounts? The accounts in the operating chart of accounts are the ones that is used for recording transactions by the end users. The use of the operating chart of accounts is mandatory. Can you see this line? Is very, very necessary for the system to enable the users for entering the transactions. Besides the operating chart of accounts, the following two other types of charts of account exist: group chart of accounts and the country chart of accounts. Group chart of accounts and your country COE. So we saw this here. Of course, we didn't see this in the SAP system, but from the explanation perspective, I hope things are clear. See, you need not have to understand where this is, how the chart of accounts is constructed, where this is going to be assigned to the company code, where is the place in SAP. Okay, you need not have to know the other details of the group COA and the country chart of accounts. Okay, I will show you once I am comfortable in knowing that you are okay with the system. Okay, at that point, I will definitely show you more and more about all these concepts. Clear, students? Try to digest all these things, whatever has happened. All right. I'll just take a breather for 1 or 2 minutes. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay. Let us proceed with the, I hope, oh, I didn't see the questions. Sorry. Let me just check up. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So your, I hope the concepts are clear. Where exactly these things are, we will have a look at it a little in the future. Okay. Maintaining general ledger data. You can simply read it. The country chart of accounts is used if a company needs to use other accounts than the ones which are being used, created in the operating chart of accounts. In order, why? In order to fulfill a specific local accounting requirements. Clear? Now, it is assigned on a company code level. We already know this when I just spoke to you about the assign. Okay. Usually there is a one-to-one relationship between the operating COA and the company code, or operating COA and the country chart of accounts. So you can also, if you are asked in the interview, okay, let me put up that statement in the Excel sheet. Only one you can have only one operational chart of accounts assigned to a company code. But a company code cannot use more than one operational chart of accounts. The other way, one operational chart of accounts can be used by n number of company codes. Now, what is this confusing statement? Now, suppose I have this structure. Reliance Group, you have Geo, Smart, Trends, Insurance, Petrochemicals. So all the company codes which fall under the Reliance Group, they are following only one operational chart of accounts. Geo is following one operational chart of account. Smart is also following the same operational chart of accounts. Why? Because all the businesses of Geo, Smart, Trends, Insurance, your petrochemical, whatever businesses you talk from the Reliance perspective, they're all satisfied, or they are contained in a huge structure called as operational chart of accounts. So I just gave you an example where we had thousands and thousands of general ledger accounts. And all the 23, 24 countries, they were using the same operational chart of accounts. There is no concept of you having more than one operational chart of accounts. So n number of company codes can use only one operational chart of accounts. But the same chart of accounts can be used by n number of company codes. Is it clear? One company code, one chart of account, but one chart of accounts can be used by n number of company codes, one operational chart. Is the definition clear? These things are likely to be asked in the interview. Yeah, once you qualify as CMAs, and you just tell the interviewer that you're also aware of SAP, obviously and definitely he is going to ask you these questions. Okay. And why do the interviewers ask you these questions? The very basic reason is these are all the integral part. This is the foundation for your finance module. Okay. And you need to have a very clear picture about at least the definitions and what is mandatory, what is not mandatory, and what circumstances things are mandatory and some of the things are not mandatory. So you need to have a clear understanding of at least the terms and what exactly is the purpose, what exactly is the meaning. All right. Now, any questions? No questions. All right. Okay. So today we touched upon so many interesting things in SAP finance side. Yeah. Let us just go through the. So this is exactly what he says. 1:1. 1:1. 1:1 and n number of company codes using one operational chart. One chart of accounts to one operational chart of accounts to one company code and n number of company codes using the same chart of accounts. Clear, students? As a result of this link to an account of the operating chart is automatically assigned at the document level. I will explain this particular thing, especially this para, when I take you into the SAP system. Or can I show it to you now itself? No, he is just talking to you about what is the or where the operating chart of accounts is talking to the group chart of accounts and how the operating chart of accounts is talking to the country chart of accounts. I'll just try to understand, but if it's confusing, I will stop it. Okay. Maybe too much of SAP also may not be advisable at this present moment. Just hold on. I will re-log into the SAP system. Students, ignore all this. Okay, not now. I will tell you. I will also show this to you in detail. Don't bother. Don't worry about it. But our first focus is where exactly the things are. Okay. So can you see the group chart of accounts? This place, this is the operating chart of accounts, operational chart of accounts, which is being assigned to a company code. Now this is a group chart of accounts. So when I had this concept of consolidation, where the child company code is reporting back to the mother company code or to the corporate office or to the head office, you need this particular assignment. So the consultant would create a group chart of accounts as well as the operational chart. Here, don't bother about the place. I've just brought you to the place to show you where this is linked based on the statements, what is being done in the study module. I've just brought you to that. Now, suppose you want to see where exactly you want to see the assignment of the country chart of accounts. I will show you that. Or I could have straight away gone to, okay, not a problem. That wouldn't have been a problem at all. Just hold on, guys. See, as soon as we construct the chart of accounts, see, immediate next will be your assign company code to chart of accounts. It has to be the mandatory step. Can you see this country chart of accounts? So what did I say? 0001 is a standard company code. It is assigned to a standard chart of accounts INT. You remember the last class when I extracted the Excel, SAP data into Excel, I gave that particular, or today morning, I don't remember. But the activity was when I extracted the SAP chart of accounts into my Excel sheet, I gave some information or some input and I called it as int. So it is enough for you to know that these two are the standard SAP system deliverables. And this is exactly what I said. You will definitely see at least this company code in any of the SAP system, wherever I open. Now, can you see that there is some country chart of accounts? This is where I tag my operational chart of accounts as well as the country chart of accounts. Is this clear? So we have seen where the operating chart of accounts talks to the group chart of accounts and where the operating chart of accounts gets connected to the country chart of accounts. Clear, students? So this is as far as the SAP system is concerned. This is exactly what he says. The account of the country COA is automatically assigned. Now, what is the document? Just hold on. And the further meaning of this, as a link, he is talking about the GL account. When he's talking about the GL account, I will show you where exactly he's doing it. Do not see consolidation data group account number. Is he talking about the same thing? Is automatically assigned at the document level when a posting is made in the general ledger, the operating COA and the country COA. That has been taken care. Now, how does the consolidation take place? This is your company code. This company code is assigned to INT because both are standards. This is the operating general ledger account, operating chart of accounts, general ledger account. And this is, if at all I had the concept of my company code reporting back to its mother company, I would have had the general ledger account number here in the group chart of accounts. This general ledger account here, where I'm moving the cursor under group account number, should be present in the group chart of accounts. This is present in the operational chart of accounts. Now, just to explain a little further, I'll just go one step ahead. Now, what is the logic? Now, let me take an example. I want to see my head office will not want, I have 5 company codes or even 10 company codes under my head office. So at the macro level, my head office would not want to have a look at the result of the banking transaction or what is the balance. Is it a debit or a credit in individual bank accounts? I'm not interested. So here, all the 10 GL accounts pertaining to the company 10 company code bank accounts, I would tag it to one group account number. One group account number will be one bank account where all the 10 other general ledger accounts pertaining to the bank of all the 10 company codes, I would tag it to one group chart, one group GL account. So obviously I'll have a few general ledger accounts in the group chart of accounts as compared to my operational chart of accounts. Students, things may not be clear as of now. Okay. Don't worry. Give yourself some time to understand. If you have not understood the concept, perfectly okay. Perfectly all right. That is, in fact, one of the best indicators that you are proceeding well in learning SAP. If you say that you are not getting confused, then there is something seriously wrong. You will have to always get confused. That is where it sets you thinking. Okay. Now, even if you ask me questions on this, if at all, you're most welcome to ask me. But what I would try to do is I would make note of this particular question and reply only tomorrow. The reason is I will allow you to forget things and repeat again tomorrow so that the understanding will be better, the understanding will be fresh. See, today you might have understood the subject in one particular perspective. Tomorrow you will get the other perspective of the same topic. That is the whole reason. Now, since we are left with maybe say 5 or 6 more minutes, now it is your time for me to, or rather your time for questions. Because I would not want to take up in the last 5 minutes any new topic or any new concept. Anyway, I'll prepare myself for tomorrow and wait for your questions for the next 5 minutes. Students, take your time to understand, not a problem. And in your free time, please try to open the enable, the one what I'm showing. Please try to make use of this material what SAP has prepared with so much of difficulty, right? And with so much of effort. I wouldn't say difficulty. I would say a lot of efforts have gone in, correct? So you are okay with the definition. The group COA is used to deliver financial statements for consolidation. So that was a point which I made in the very initial stages. Reasons to use this particular group COA might be that different companies under the same group. Yeah. N to 1, N is to 1. We have already known the relationship as to what is 1 is to 1, what is N is to 1. We have already known that. All right. I think this slide also should not be new to you. We have already spoken about the chart of accounts information and the company code information as far as the general ledger account is concerned. I showed you the place where we log. Anyway, tomorrow I'll visit. I'll make a note of the slide number 330. Okay. I think we can. I'll just make a note of this particular slide. So this is an indicator for me to begin with the slide tomorrow, along with a brief introduction to whatever we did today. All right. All right. Anyway, that is our regular practice. I always start with the recap of whatever happened the previous day or the previous session. Students, you have 2 more minutes left for me to take up questions. Pleasure, Vikram. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am very much available, students, for the next minute. Or else you can make note of the question and come back to me tomorrow also. Most welcome. Pleasure, pleasure. One Sukant has said thank you. Pleasure, Sukant. So we will leave the topic here and we will continue afresh tomorrow morning by 11 a.m. All right. So now we can stop here. Kunal? Thank you, Anirudh Chetan. Kunal, are you there? Okay, students will meet up tomorrow, right? So I'll be logging off. Thank you. See you tomorrow morning by 11. Bye bye. Thanks.